Okay, so before we start this video, the reason I didn't get this out earlier is because we were busy on Monday and Tuesday, so I just decided to take the rest of the week off. But now here we are, reviewing Space Jam: A New Legacy. So Space Jam: A New Legacy is the sequel to Space Jam.
This review will include spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie and want to, check it out and then come back.
So I personally had fun with the first one, even though I didn't grow up with it. You didn't even watch it though.
No, I didn't. I just watched the second one.
But overall, this film I actually enjoyed more than the first, even though I have a lot more problems with it. Let's talk about the animation in this movie. It's pretty good. It's a lot more energetic and cartoony than the first one, and it really stands out.
Yeah, it's true. It does.
There's a lot of Warner Brothers things in here, and they're all basically their unique style. Also, turning the Looney Tunes into 3D characters was pretty good, and but there was like something a little odd about the way they were animated, but overall it was pretty good. So next, let's talk about the Serververse. There's this giant thing in the movie that Algae Rhythm puts LeBron into called the Serververse. It's basically all the Warner Bros. Properties in a bunch of different universes in one big universe. And it was pretty cool to see all the universes. Like, they have Harry Potter, and they have like DC, and yeah, and like the Amazon land, Themyscira. And there's also quite a bit of cool cameos like Rick and Morty and Michael B. Jordan instead of Michael Jordan. Sylvester mixes it up. So basically, that was probably the best part of the entire movie, just going into all the worlds. Even though this movie is basically a giant product for Warner Bros., it still was pretty cool and didn't really mind it, because Warner Bros. Makes some really good movies that I'm into, like Harry Potter and like the good DCEU movies. So, let's talk about the acting. It's decent. There weren't any performances that stuck out to me. People have been saying on the internet that LeBron James isn't a good actor, and like, I mean, that's not really one of his specialties, but he wasn't really bad. I don't think he was bad in the movie except for like 2 scenes that were awkward.
What did he do?
So there was this one. Remember, like, when he was falling, he was just screaming, like, ah.
Oh, yeah?
That's. Then the other part is, like, where he's talking about Dom. And, like, he's all serious talking to Dom about going to basketball camp. And then his mom just says, dinner's ready. And then they're like, are we having meatballs again? And then LeBron's like, ooh, that's my favorite. So let's move on to the Looney Tunes actors. They're pretty good in here. They do their best with what they've got, and they're always entertaining to watch. So one thing that stood out to me, and not in the good way, was Zendaya's performance, and people have been talking about it a lot. People think that it's good, and I think that it's decent, but there was something off about it. There were like 2 things that I thought about. It's like, A, the script wasn't good that she received. She didn't get a good script to work off. Or B, she just didn't put as much work into it
as her other shows.
As her other movies, yeah. So overall, her acting in here just wasn't like on point with her other stuff she's been in. So the worst thing about this movie is probably its runtime. This movie stands at 1 hour and 55 minutes, And originally I thought that it would be better because the first Space Jam was only an hour and 27 minutes, and you could really feel that it was cut short and not a lot happened in here. But this one is way too long. I think they should have made this like an hour and 40 minutes. And there's just a lot of things you could cut out in this movie. Like the subplot with Algae, Rhythm, and Dom.
Yeah, and like,
There was like three to four conversations of them alone. And also,
and like,
yeah.
it was just like too long. There was just too much stuff you could cut out.
Yeah, the other subplot with LeBron's like wife and trying to find him. Thankfully, it was only 2 scenes, but it still felt like it didn't really need to be part
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
And there was the part that they didn't really need to like have the security part that long. They just could have like, I don't know. It was just really like some of the like clips, I guess, they didn't need to be in the movie, and they were like boring extra stuff.
Yeah. So let's talk about the story before we wrap up. So the film is basically about Bugs reuniting his team because they all left him, and then they have to play basketball games so LeBron can get out of the serververse. I think that the idea was good and it was executed, but again, with the runtime, it just felt the story, which wasn't that big, was like spread out into almost 2 hours. So I think that they should have trimmed some of the parts out and the story would have been better too. So overall, I like this one better than the first. I think that this is a good thing to like just to watch with your kids or just watch it on HBO Max. But if you are, I don't think you should watch by yourself because it seems like it could be boring. Just have some friends over and just watch it that way, which like I did. So, but still, it was a good time. Just too long and too much stuff happening in it. But I do prefer this one over the first one, and I'm gonna give Space Jam: A New Legacy a 7 out of 10. What about you?
I think it was a good movie. It had a really like good story base and a lot of good like animation and like editing, but the runtime and like how long it was, and it was kind of like in some parts and towards the end it got boring because they just did the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. So I would give this a 5 out of 10.
So thanks so much for watching this. I'm sorry for the late review, but I mean, I just kind of want to relax after 2 days of hanging out with friends and stuff. So I'm going to make it up with it. So I'm probably gonna have like a video out every day up from now up until like Tuesday. And also my friend Nathan will be joining one of them, so stay tuned for that. Also, I have a second channel called Nerd Nation Vlogs, and I was originally going to post it last Saturday, but then I realized I didn't know what to do then. But I'm going to probably get a vlog out on Sunday. So stay tuned for that, and the link for that is in the description. I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.